U.S. President Donald Trump is following through on his threat to raise tariffs on Canada, with duties on some Canadian goods rising from 25 to 35%.
CTV's Jeremie Charron is following this story and joins us live. Good morning, Jeremie.
Good morning.
So let's talk with the latest. What are we hearing from the Prime Minister on this announcement made by U.S. President Donald Trump yesterday, this increase to 35%?
Yeah, look, I mean, we knew this was coming, but now it's here. The deadline has come and gone, and Canada did not get a deal prior to that August 1st deadline. And so, as you've touched on, the 35% tariffs are now in effect. And the Prime Minister reacting late last night or early this morning, really, to the news, saying in a statement online in part that while we will continue to negotiate with the United States on our trading relationship, the Canadian government is laser focused on what we can control, building Canada strong. The statement goes on to say Canadians will be our best customer, creating more well-paying careers at home as we strengthen and strength and diversity are our trading partnerships throughout the world. Strengthen and diversify, rather, our trading partnerships throughout the world. So the Prime Minister really putting the message out in a reaction to this, that Canada will continue to focus on ensuring that it is less reliant on the U.S. while, continuing those negotiations. But trying to really emphasize on diversifying trade and eliminating those trade barriers, like we know that work has been happening to ensure that Canada as a country can kind of help itself as much as possible. Beyond that, we know that talks will continue, that negotiators will be laser focused on continuing to try and get a deal done. Donald Trump has been highly critical of Canada in the last few days when it comes to ongoing negotiations on trade. Again, in the last 24 hours, talking about things that he doesn't like in the trade relationship, what he calls a trade imbalance. He's talked negatively about supply management in the dairy industry. And as we know, in the last few days has basically criticized Canada for its decision or its announcement that it will recognize the Palestinian statehood, and saying that will hinder ongoing trade negotiations. So the Canadian government will have its hands full in continuing to try and get a deal done here. But the Prime Minister also, in his reaction, trying to emphasize the fact that due to the deal that's already in place, the Canada-U.S. agreement, Canada is better off than most countries that have landed a deal already. It's important to note that 35%, or the increase to 35% that took place overnight, only applies to non-CUSMA compliant goods. So that means 80 to 90% of Canada's economy, which fall under that CUSMA compliant umbrella, if you will not be impacted by these tariffs. Nonetheless, there are industries that will be hit hard. Of course, steel and aluminum, we know, is an industry that is reeling from this. But the good news is Canada continues to see the exemption for those CUSMA compliant goods, and work will continue to try and ensure that a new deal is done at some point that can put Canada in an even better position than we are already.
But for now, the holding pattern continues, as does the uncertainty. CTV's Jeremie Charron, always appreciate your time. Thank you.